Hello, hello. Welcome back to Badass is the New Black podcast, a podcast where I share how to be badass in life and business. This is episode number 4, and I am your host, Chrissy Chin. I want to start this episode off with a little Mark Twain. He said, "The secret to getting ahead is getting started." In episode 3, I gave you one magic ingredient to having that $1 million idea. That's what we talked about. Do you remember what it was? I'll give you a hint. It has to do with the quote I just, read off the paper in front of me. The secret to getting ahead is getting started. Hint, hint, hint. If you didn't listen to the episode, you can go back and listen to it. But I will tell you, it's taking action. And that's one of the biggest questions that I get about taking action or getting started is, where do I start? Well, that's a good question. I have no idea. No, I'm just kidding. What I want to say is I have no idea where you're at in the process, what you're trying to accomplish, or what you're working on. So I can't give you an exact answer. Of course, feel free to connect with me on social media. You can give me all the details there. But I can give you some great take action or getting started tips that you can apply no matter where you are in the process or what you're doing. I promise. And if you started a long time ago and you're just kind of stuck in a rut, this episode is for you too. Okay? You can get started again by taking action. That sounded weird. Again. You can get started again by taking action. I'm not editing that out. Okay, so tip number 1, do not overthink it. No matter what you do, I know who you are out there. Do not get in your head. Do not overanalyze everything. Do not think about all the bad stuff, all the hard stuff, everything that could go wrong, what you don't know. Freeze dead in your tracks because you keep thinking about all that stuff and get analysis paralysis, and then you don't do anything. Okay, what I want you to do, because you may never change, this may always be a thing for you, and I'm not knocking you. It's so common. I've done it too. I'll tell you about it in a minute. Learn to recognize that and snap yourself out of it. Okay, I've been pretty successful. And like I said, this is me too. Not all the time, but it definitely happens. So I've been thinking about building my personal brand more for, I don't want to admit it, but over a year. Okay, I've been thinking about it, and I keep thinking about all of the things that I'm going to need to do. And I know I need to do them because I did all of these things for my thriving business. And so I get a little stuck. I get a little analysis paralysis thinking about all the things and how am I going to do it all? And these things I don't know how to do. And so I've thought about it for a whole year. I've made excuses instead of taking action. I knew that I would need to create a freebie, an opt-in that I could use to collect email addresses from my audience. Okay, that's something I did in my first business. With the help of my amazing sister and partner. We tag teamed it. I did the content. She made it pretty. Boom, it worked. Okay, well, my personal brand, I'm doing it, on my own, basically. I'm building it on my own. So there's things I know how to do and there's things I don't know how to do, like make it pretty or how to link my website to my domain to my Kajabi account. Super basic stuff that I don't know how to do. Okay, it's embarrassing, but I'm confessing to you. So those are the kinds of things that have kept me from taking action on it all because I'm like, gosh, I'm going to hit these roadblocks. I don't know how to do those things. Okay, so believe it or not, actually, after hemming and hawing over this for a whole year and letting all those things stop me dead in my tracks, one night at midnight, I was sitting at my desk. The house was quiet, finally. For those with children, you will understand. This is the time where my brain is most active with ideas. And it's probably because I can actually hear my thoughts. I'm always coming up with ideas and thinking, but this is when I can actually hear my thoughts. Okay, so it's midnight. I'm sitting at my desk and I start typing, and I have this thought about creating a list of the 5 steps that I use to create my email list for my successful business. Because that email list was hands down the thing that propelled that business into success super fast. Okay, so I was like, let me put together a list of the 5 steps that I use to create my email list. And this will be a great opt-in for people. I don't know how I'm going to make it pretty yet, but I have all these thoughts and ideas. Let me just type them out. Okay, I was finally taking action on putting this together. And I did. I typed it up in under an hour. Okay, I didn't know the next step, how I was going to make it pretty, but I took action. 1 week later, I was contacted by someone who wanted to be my virtual assistant. Well, not necessarily mine. She just wanted to be someone's. And she was told that I might need one. I didn't even know I was looking for a virtual assistant, but someone out there knew I might be, and they recommended me. So I talked with her and, shared what I needed, and, she shared what she could do. And then somehow 2 other people came across my path who were also interested in being my virtual assistant. And of course, I was like, how am I going to pick between the 3? Well, one of them said to me, as I was telling her all the things that I would need, she goes, oh, well, I could help you make that PDF that you need for your free opt-in. I could give it a go. I could make it pretty. And I was literally like, are you kidding me? That was the thing that was holding me back from starting for a freaking year. You better believe that I hired her on the spot and said, all right, let's start with the PDF and we'll see how it goes from there. All right. How was I able to accomplish that? 3 days later, I had a beautiful PDF in front of me. Okay. I was able to accomplish that so quickly because I had taken that first action step. So I had the content ready to go for her. I sent it right over and she did her magical things and she made it pretty. This story is the perfect example of how taking action on one thing that you have time for and that you know how to do can lead to the next thing, even if you have no idea how that next thing's going to happen when you're doing the first thing. That was me. I'm doing the first thing. I'm creating this content for this opt-in, and I have no idea how it's going to get pretty, but it just happened. The right person came across my path and it happened. All right, tip number 2. So that was tip number 1, a very long tip number 1. Do not overthink it. Tip number 2 is don't wait until you know exactly how you will get to the end to get started. Okay, don't obsess over making things perfect. I love and live by the quote, done is better than perfect. Because if you start thinking about all of the things that you have to do to get to the end, and you wait until all of those things are done and done perfect, you will never, I almost knocked my microphone over. You will never get to the end. You will never release what you have to release. And if you never get started, you can't ever get to the end. All right, it's a process for everyone and everyone struggles. You're not alone. But that next thing that you can do is what will help you continuously be moving forward. So do not wait until it's perfect, or you will never do it. Remember, done is better than perfect. My third tip, that was kind of 2 tips in 1. My third tip, before we get to the action plan at the end, is to stop consuming and start doing. Oftentimes when we don't know, what to do, or we're feeling overwhelmed, we just keep consuming. We keep listening to podcasts and YouTube videos and reading articles. Raise my hand on that one. You're like, oh, if I just keep listening to what everyone else that's successful is telling me what to do, somehow it will magically get done for me. No, that is not how it works. And I know that you know that. The more information you listen to, especially from other people saying different things, the more it's going to overwhelm you. So stop consuming and start doing. Okay, this is the last podcast you're going to listen to before you take your next action step. All right, so let's just get to that. Here, I'm going to give you what to do to help you take action. All right, so get out a piece of paper. And if you're driving or doing something, don't get out a piece of paper right now. Do this later. Write down all of the things that you think or know that you'll have to do to get your business to the end goal. This list may be very long because you literally have thought about everything and analyzed everything. Or the list will be really short because you literally have no idea what the heck you're doing. Okay, that's a whole different kind of overwhelm. Maybe we'll cover that in another episode. It doesn't matter which one you are. Long list, short list, I promise. Look at those lists and then circle the things that you wrote down that you can do now, or the things that you know how to do. You don't need anyone else's help. You don't need any money to do it. You can do those things now. Those are the things that either don't take much time, right? Okay. The other ones that you didn't circle are the ones that you aren't really sure how you're going to accomplish them. Maybe you don't have the skills. Maybe you don't have the money. Maybe you don't have the knowledge. Or maybe it's just a big blank space in there where you're like, I know a lot has to happen in here, but I don't know what it is. Just leave that be. Okay. Go back to the circled things on your list that you can do and pick one, whether it's the top one, I don't care. Just pick one to start with. Do it and then cross it off your list. And then keep doing the next circled thing. Keep crossing them off your list. And if new things come up, add them to the list. And if you can do them now without anyone's help, circle it. And I promise as you start crossing off those things, those circled things that you can do in that process, in that time, you will learn how to do the things you don't know how to do, or someone will come across your path. Keep your ears open, keep your mind and your heart open. People will come across your path that will lead you to how to get those done. Okay? Trust me. All right, let's recap on the 3 things. Tip number 1, do not overthink it. Tip number 2, don't wait until you know exactly how you're going to get to the end to get started. And then my other partial tip number 2 weaved in there was done is better than perfect. So don't wait till it's perfect to do it or release it. And then tip number 3 is stop consuming and start doing. I hope this was helpful. I hope you take action. I want to hear more about all of the wins that you're having with your little action steps. So please connect with me over on social media. You can connect with me on Instagram by searching The Chrissy Chin, or you can search Badass is the New Black. Either way, you should be able to find me. Let's connect over there. If you liked what you heard in this podcast and you want to hear more from me, and I'm going to start bringing guests onto the show, make sure you subscribe. Hit that subscribe button so you can get notified when the new episodes are out. That is it, my friend. Until next time, keep doing those action steps, and we'll see you later.